All right, let's dive right into this explainer because we are unpacking a massive, hidden supply chain crisis today. And amazingly, it's being solved by everyday consumer technology. We're going to do a deep dive investigation into some major year-to-date headline news trends coming out of Washington and Ontario. It's a crazy situation where international trade policy, geopolitical maneuvering, and literal municipal solid waste all violently collide. And the hero stepping in to fix it, an artificial intelligence stack running on a smartphone.
To really understand this, we have to start with the sheer physical reality on the ground right now. Every single year, 3.46 million tons of municipal solid waste, or MSW, is shipped from Ontario, Canada, right across the U.S. border into Michigan landfills. If you go to the Windsor-Detroit Ambassador Bridge or the Sarnia-Port Huron-Blue Water Bridge on a weekday morning, you'll literally see a continuous queue of transport trucks. It is an absolute lifeline for Ontario's waste disposal.
Now, you might be wondering, why ship garbage internationally? Well, it comes down to extreme economic arbitrage. Just look at this gap, a disposal fee of just 36 cents per ton in Michigan compared to nearly $190 per ton back in Ontario. That massive difference makes shipping trash hundreds of miles across a border surprisingly profitable. I mean, it is literally the financial engine driving this entire cross-border ecosystem.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The cross-border waste paradox. 2. Tariffs and the capacity cliff. 3. The Sentient Bridge solution. 4. Pixel 10 Pro Edge AI. 5. Automated UI and compliance. And 6. Shorting the landfill.
Let's jump into part 1, the cross-border waste paradox, examining that 14.35% Michigan dependency.
To put that percentage into perspective, Ontario garbage accounts for over 14% of every single ton buried in Michigan landfills. Michigan is functionally acting as this giant municipal trash chute for its Canadian neighbor. And historically, they've been able to do this because the U.S. Commerce Clause prevents states from blocking interstate or international commerce based just on where it comes from.
But that historical protection is starting to falter. This huge flow of trash is absolutely turning heads in politics right now. We're seeing objective reporting that Ontario Premier Doug Ford explicitly cited, quote, protecting Ontario if Trump closes the border to Ontario's garbage, unquote, as the core reason for signing Bill 5, which fast-tracked domestic landfill expansions. And on the flip side, Michigan's Governor Whitmer has proposed aggressively hiking state tipping fees. So this waste corridor is now a massive market variable, triggering protectionist legislation on both sides.
Which brings us to part 2, tariffs and the capacity cliff and the 2026 geopolitical escalation.
The crucial takeaway here is that looking ahead to 2026, the regulatory environment rapidly escalates. We're talking about Washington declining to extend the USMCA, or SUSMA as it's known up north, triggering a 10-year wind-down of the pact. At the exact same time, Ontario is staring down a 2034 domestic landfill capacity cliff where they literally run out of physical space. So the whole corridor is caught in this giant vice between running out of physical land in Canada and severe new trade walls going up in the U.S.
Let's look at the teeth of those trade walls for a second. The impending Section 338 tariffs threatening a staggering 50% duty on Canadian goods, regardless of their previous USMCA status. For exporters, that is an existential threat. But there is a narrow lifeline. If you can definitively prove your waste is purely clean wood, it gets reclassified under a USMCA Chapter 4 shield. It's basically a golden ticket loophole that keeps it tariff exempt. Proving that exemption, though, that becomes a matter of absolute financial survival.
And that leads us to Section 3, the Sentient Bridge solution. Enter the 905 Wood Digital Refinery. So, to navigate this incredibly complex geopolitical mess, the 905 Wood Digital Refinery steps in. Think of this platform as the Sentient Bridge. It perfectly connects totally chaotic, unverified construction waste with the ultra-strict, high-purity requirements of the global biocarbon market. It's computationally transforming messy disposal liabilities into high-margin, trade-compliant assets. By operationalizing this, 905 Wood is literally securing Ontario's industrial leadership in the global circular bioeconomy.
The strategic results are just incredible. By perfectly filtering out contaminants right at the source, this system acts like a firewall. It defends against Washington's escalating trade war and 50% tariffs. It completely sidesteps Governor Whitmer's proposed fee hikes. And, maybe most importantly, it avoids the 2034 Ontario capacity cliff entirely, because that clean wood isn't being landfilled at all. It's being diverted and unlocked into the premium biocarbon market.
Let's look under the hood in Section 4, Pixel 10 Pro Edge AI and its 12-stage on-device workflow.
This workflow is basically a magic trick using consumer tech. A truck driver literally just uses a Google Pixel 10 Pro running Android 16 to capture a scan of a chaotic waste pile. The phone's local Tensor G5 chip executes a light art AI stack right there on the device. No cloud processing, and it happens in under 500 milliseconds. If that primary AI isn't absolutely certain, say it hits an amber band where weathered wood might be hiding chemicals, it instantly escalates to a heavier secondary AI model right on the phone to guard against visual fallacies. Now, if the load gets flagged, the system loops in physical near-infrared and X-ray sensors. It pulls that spectrochemical data, and a massive 26 billion parameter AI adjudicates the findings against complex environmental laws. Finally, the driver seals this unalterable decision with a simple screen hold using the device's Titan M2 chip, which is basically an unhackable vault built right into the phone. The physical world is completely cryptographically locked to the digital record. Moving on to Section 5, Automated UI and Compliance, Output Documentation, and Explainable Compliance.
Once that verification is locked in, the digital refinery application workflow takes over, and the UI/UX automatically outputs a complete package of PDF documentation. It instantly spits out exactly what the border guards and buyers need. We're talking the crucial certificate of origin to get that tariff shield, the electronic environmental manifests, and even automatic request for quote generation. It gives you 100% explainable compliance, completely securing the load for transit.
Finally, Section 6, Shorting the Landfill, looking at the toxicology and financial ROI. The Edge AI rigorously enforces these super strict statutory limits for heavy metals. There is literally zero margin for error here. If any limit for arsenic, lead, or chromium is breached, the system is ruthless. It autonomously calls an API, generates a hazardous waste manifest, and immediately revokes all border certificates. It completely blocks the border to contaminated loads, saving companies from massively penalized custom seizures.
This unshakable verification is the secret sauce. By operationalizing the Pixel 10 Pro and the Light RTAI stack, 905 Wood systematically shorts the landfill. Diverting this certified clean wood away from Michigan generates an incredible $2,721 carbon dividend per mothership load. It entirely turns a massive political and financial liability into a highly profitable asset.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought to end on. We just saw how a structured AI workflow decoupled a massive vulnerable supply chain from a raging international trade war. If a smartphone can autonomously solve a cross-border dispute over millions of tons of waste, what other massive, chaotic global supply chains are about to be completely rewritten by the device sitting in your pocket right now?